Hey folks, here we are again. This is the new record breaker for me. I have never sawn a log that is this big before. If you look at one of my previous videos, which was the figured maple video, that one was not nearly as big as this one. How big is it? About 54.5 inches across. Now some of you might wonder, where do I get a log that is big like this? And I'll tell you where I got it. It comes from a sawmill that is fairly local to me here, only about 15 minutes away. And they have a few logs that are about this size, and it's too big to cut on their mills. And quite honestly, it's obviously too big for my mill too. So today we are going to have some fun trying to cut down this monstrous red oak. It's about 100 years old. You might think that it would be older than that, but I counted the growth rings from the center all the way out. It's about 100 years old. First thing we have to do is try to get this off of the truck. Guys, are you with me today? Are we gonna have some fun? Yes, I think that we are. Let's go ahead and get started. So my camera is level, and as you can see, the truck is not. This is on purpose so that I can try to roll this off the side of the truck. You see, my forklift is a very strong forklift. As a matter of fact, we call him Samson Jr. But Samson Jr. is not strong enough to lift a log this heavy. Thankfully, not too far from me, I have a truck scale, and I decided to drive the truck through there to kind of guess about what this log would weigh. And I weighed in at 17,500 pounds. My F450 is about 8,500 to 9,000 pounds. So that gives you an idea of how much this weighs. This log is at least 9,000 pounds. I've never done anything like this before, rolling this off the truck, something this heavy. And so let's get to it and let's have some fun, and most importantly, let's be safe. This giant log I have before me may be one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had in the sawmill business. As you saw, this log was getting loaded on the truck, and it took every bit of that truck to move this log. And I want to show you what the size is on this thing. So, it's about 48 inches across that way, or 4 feet. And on this end, it's about 50 inches on the other top to bottom length there. And so I've thought about a lot of different ways that I can go about cutting this. One of them is just to take the forklift that I have and just jam my forks or my bucket into this thing and see if it'll pop open. They actually said at the sawmill down the road that's what they do. Granted, their loader is quite a bit bigger than mine, and so I don't know if that would really work with mine. Another thought I had are these wedges. Now, there's already some big cracks, as are expected in a log this size, right down here, and I thought, well, maybe I'll take these splitting wedges here, and I'll just put them in there and just hammer them in, and the log will split apart. But I really don't think that that's going to work, honestly. I think I would need a massive wedge to make something like that happen, and there's no telling what's going to happen to that log if I try to split it that way. I mean, what if it splits a totally wrong direction and I waste all of my wood? So I'm not going to use those wedges. But here's what I've decided I'm going to do. To me, there's only one way to saw a log like this, and that is to do the traditional quarter sawing method. I want to get big, wide boards that are quarter sawn. That's going to get that beautiful, we call it medullary array flecking that's going on throughout the entire board. And I think that that will be some pretty valuable lumber if I can get it. And so what I'm going to do is do some marks. I have a big square that I'm going to use, and we're going to try to sort of just mark out where square is from this crack. And my first cuts are going to be down the log with the chainsaw and trying to get it done. I'm going to show you what kind of saw I'm going to use to do this. What I've got here is the Husqvarna, if I can get that off. Husqvarna 395 XP, and this sucker has been bored, it's been polished, it's had a little bit of work done to it, so it might not sound like a typical 395 XP. Remember folks, it's the challenges in life that refine us and develop character and make us strong. So let's do some hard work today, and let's see if the results are good. I'm not sure there's many things more satisfying in life than running a 395 XP Husqvarna with a 3/8 skip tooth chain on full throttle through a giant log like this. Look, I got most of this cut through now. As you see, I only cut halfway down. One, because my bar is only 28 inches, so of course it'd be impossible to cut all the way through it. But I've done this, and I'm going to now try a little different tactic. I've decided I want to try to use the forklift. I'm going to take the forks, I'm going to wedge those forks down in that cut that I just made and see if this log will split open or not. May work, May not, but hey, worth a try, right? Let's see what happens. Well, that was a massive failure. My forklift weighs somewhere around 14,000 pounds, and I had the front wheels totally off, pushing down on it, and it could be that I'm just not getting enough force on it. I don't want to get too messed up in the technicalities of all that. Needless to say, there's not enough force to crack this thing in half from where it's at, so that's a good sign. The lug has lots of integrity. It's not just going to crack open, but it does mean I'm going to have quite a lot more chainsaw work ahead of me. So let's time lapse that and see if I can't get this thing quartered. Just so you know what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to cut down this way. I'm going to basically go along the already natural crack there, try to get a quarter out of this thing that I can get on the sawmill to get something cut. Well, I got this thing quartered with the chainsaw. I got 1/4 cut out right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire up the forklift and I'm gonna put the forks together, and then I'm gonna try to sort of get them in there and see if I can pry it up or break it loose or something like that. If not, it's just gonna be more work. But I think it's gonna be worth it. So let's see if we can get this thing tackled. You know, as I was just thinking about getting this forklift fired up, I had a thought. Some people watch these videos because they love watching somebody work. Some people watch them because they enjoy the beauty and the art, if you will, of cutting things like this. Some people watch them because they're reminded of a time in life when people seem to work a little bit harder, at least physically. You know, in the world today, there's so much stuff that is going on. Everyone seems to be looking for the next apocalypse or the next global ending disaster. And we tend to lose sight of all of the things that matter right here and now. You know, why should we work hard? Well, for one, because you're going to develop an excellent character doing so. You're going to develop integrity, starting something, finishing it, doing what you can say you can do. Getting off that couch, doing something with your life, having tangible results, working hard. These are things that really matter. And not only that, but pursuing all of these things with faith. Knowing that in and of yourself, you're not strong enough to do these things. But with the power of the Almighty, it's possible. Guys, I'm tired of living in fear. I'm tired of seeing people live in fear and always worried about the next thing that's coming. Worry about what's here right in front of you. Tackle the obstacles in front of you. And just like we're cutting this log today, see the beauty that's going to result. And so let's get this forklift fired up and let's see what we can accomplish here today. Wow, that was exciting. Wow, that was exciting. All right, so you'd seen it. Here it is, 1/4 taken out of it. And yeah, probably not the greatest chainsaw work in the world. A lot of rough edges in there. That's one of the reasons it was kind of hard to break apart. Kind of saw that one coming. But look at this log inside, and that's just the chainsaw marks. Now all that's left is to get the rest of this thing quartered. And I think the hardest work is behind us. Any project that you ever do, usually getting started is the hardest part. Am I right? So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these two areas out, and then it's as simple as just cutting it in half from there. And so, well, we'll see what we can do with that. Hopefully not too bad. I'm gonna fine tune the chain on the chainsaw. It's been through a lot, so I'm gonna go take a little file to that and sharpen her up so that we can get the rest of this cut up. We're gonna time lapse that as well for you so that we can save a little bit of time. But man, that saw is running beautiful. Well, I'm half pooped already, and I feel like it's just begun. You know, a big log like this is equal to about 4 good-sized logs all on their own. And I've got all 4 of these quartered now, and now we just have to handle it one piece at a time. Quarter sawing does take a little while because it's rotating back and forth, and so if you've never seen that done, who knows, this might be a little bit of a lesson for you in quarter sawing. But let's get it over to the Wood-Mizer and get this stuff cut, and we'll show some of the beauty that's hidden in these logs. Well, I heard the dreaded zoink sound while sawing, and there it is right there. Little nail. You know, it always boggles my mind. About, I don't know, 15 to 20% of the time I'll be hitting nails and stuff. I mean, trees that come out of the middle of nowhere and you'll find nails. Now I'm gonna hope it didn't wreck my blade too bad and I can finish this first little quarter that I had made. And hopefully I can get through it. I don't mind a little skip because it's gonna, you know, get planed out and everything anyhow. But yeah, so far so good. I am gonna show you these boards as soon as I get this one done and give you an idea of what I'm looking at. Alright, well here you go. This is the start of one. Now it's kind of hard to see actually in the rough sawn look, but hopefully the camera's picking it up okay. There's a bit of that flecking that's going on in there. It's not as deep as I would like. Part of that is just the tree itself, but part of it could be the way it's sawn, to be honest. But there is quite a bit of smaller flecking in this. And so, what do you think it would cost if you went to the store and said I want a quarter sawed, 18-inch wide, 2 1/4 inch thick board? The other thing is I got a knot here, so you can see there's some knots up here. There was that tiny nail in there, caused my blade to skip, and you can see the skip in the blade actually if you look here. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, a skip is when one of the teeth on the bandsaw blade gets bent, and it causes these little lines to happen in the cut. So that's the start. Well, that's 1/4 of one log is that, and then what I got on the lift there. That's 1/4 of that log. Lot of wood in that. Wonder how many board feet I'm going to end up with when this is all said and done. That's something you can guess while I'm doing all of this. How many board feet am I going to end up with? Well, look guys, the rest of this video is going to basically be repeating what you just saw 3 more times. And so I'll show you a little video of that, probably some time lapsing of that going on. And then we'll kind of look at the results and see what we ended up with. And if there's anything really beautiful along the way, of course I'll stop and show you. Well, I think I found what I was looking for. This is some beautiful, beautiful grain in this wood. Very, very straight grained. I tried very hard to cut it as straight as I possibly could. And it's maybe not easy to see other than making it a finished piece of furniture. But there is all kinds of rays and flecks and everything going on in this. Now this does not have like the super huge rays like the olden days. Granted that a lot of that you see is old white oak quarter sawn material. This is all red oak. But man, I got a whole bunch of very, very straight grained 2 1/4 inch thick quarter and let's say rift sawn red oak. It's such a beautiful evening here in southern Indiana. Looking at this pile, I almost can't believe that it's just one log made all of this. If you were wondering before about how much I was going to end up getting, well, I did the math and I got about 675 board feet is what you see stacked right by me here. Now that is a lot for just one log to have that much board feet in it. Truth be told, it could have been more. There was quite a lot of scrap, and to be honest, the chainsaw work that I did on it, I wish it would have been a little better. I probably could have got another 50 board feet to 100 board feet out of it had I not had to cut all around of the chainsaw marks that I had from the beginning of doing all that. But had I not done that, it would have been impossible to fit it on my mill. I can already kind of predict some of the things people are going to say watching this video. Well, probably the number one is, what a waste, or you should have just slabbed it, or need a bigger mill, or, you know, comments like that. But here's the thing, guys, you have to work with the tools you have. This log sat around for a very long time as I contemplated thinking about how I was going to approach it, what I was going to use it for, how I was going to cut it. Should it just stay a jungle gym for the kids? You know, things like that. And I am very, very happy about what I got out of this. I can't stress enough the value of hard work. Now, I'm not saying that you have to run a sawmill and you have to bust your rear end all day or be running a chainsaw or a sawmill or anything like that. But what I am saying is that we need to understand what the value of having a good work ethic is in our world today. If you ask me, the world could use a little improvement, and that is for every generation, no matter what time it is, whether it was 5,000 years ago or whether it's today. We need to be continually working on developing our skills and honing ourselves, our personalities, our temperaments, disposition, whatever you want to call it. And part of my life in helping me become more mature and more wise in my life is things like this, working hard and seeing tangible results out of your efforts. Because let's be honest, a lot of the things that we do in life don't always have tangible results. And this is one of the things that has always appealed to me about woodworking or sawmilling or just working with your hands in general, you know, just fixing something or making something. And I also can't state enough how important it is to approach life through faith, to have a belief. Now, for me, that's a personal belief in Jesus Christ, the Christian belief. You know, as far as I see it, the Lord made all of this stuff, and it's ours to do what we wish with it. You know, if this tree just sat there and we never cut it, we never used it for anything, it would have had its own kind of glory. But now, after we go through a whole process, the first being the sawmill, and then it's going to be whatever we make out of this stuff, it's going to have a whole other kind of glory. Perhaps better than it ever had before as just a tree sitting there. All of these things show the process of a great architect, of someone that designs things. And we're made in his image, and so we are made to create and we're made to design. And it's just a beautiful thing when we can use those gifts, those abilities, to create wonderful works of art. So that's always been part of my goal when I'm going about this, and I know many of you all that are watching this understand that. And so I think this video has come to a close. I've kind of said my final thoughts there. Hopefully you appreciate that. And this has been a blast. You know, earlier in the video I was half pooped. Now I am 100% pooped. So I'm going to go inside. I'm going to get myself a good hot shower, clean up a little bit. And this video is actually filmed on a Saturday. And so I'm looking forward to worship with my church family on Sunday morning tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Till next time.